Good morning and welcome to the International Buddhist Meditation Center for the Sunday service. This morning we're going to do some short period of meditation. After the meditation we do have a Dhamma talk. After Dhamma talk, question and answer, then last item is chanting. So right now Reverend Chandasara is going to lead the meditation, and he is the person going to give a Dhamma talk also today. Chandasara, you can start your meditation.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody. Now let us practice meditation, generate positive thoughts. For that, let's find our comfortable position, whether we are sitting on a chair or cushion. Find our comfortable posture. Breathe in and out. Take a 3 long breath in and out to relax our mind and body. And breathe in and out very gently for a few minutes to relax our mind and body, to prepare ourselves to generate loving kindness thoughts. Okay, let's practice breathe in, mindfulness breathing meditation for a few minutes. When we are breathing, we are aware that we are breathing in. When we are breathing out, mindfully breathe in and out gently. Leave aside all the difficult experiences. Just focus on breathe in and out mindfully and gently. Now, shall we switch our mindfulness breathing meditation to loving kindness meditation? As Buddha said, we may experience physical health for months, for years, for even a century, but it's hard to find we normal individuals are having mental health for even a moment. Therefore, we should generate positive thoughts, loving kindness thoughts to boost our energy, to feel ourselves happy and satisfied and peaceful. So for that, we generate loving kindness thoughts in this way. May all the living beings, including me, be physically well. May all the living beings, including me, be mentally well. May all the living beings, including me, be free from incoming danger. Let's repeat once again. May all the living beings, including me, be physically well. May all the living beings, including me, be mentally well. May all the living beings, including me, be free from incoming danger. Let's continue spreading loving kindness thoughts in this way until we hear the bell.
Chandasara leading the meditation. Now time for the Dhamma talk. Today I will speak our resident monks, Reverend Chandasara. So you can start your Dhamma talk right now.
Thank you, Bante. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Welcome back to the IBMC. Thank you so much again. Today I want to give talk on Saddha, conviction of faith, whatever term we call. Maybe faith, maybe conviction, or maybe belief, whatever. For the Pali term Saddha, I want to talk about Saddha according to the Chanki Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya. The term Saddha has the most common interpretation, definition of Dhamma of the Saddha is that Saddhati Tathagata Sabodhi, that is faith or conviction regarding the enlightenment of our historical Buddha, that is the Saddha. But we see more than one interpretation in the suttas. So let's come back to the topic. Last time we discussed the gradual teachings of the Buddha, and in the category of the teaching of the Buddha, it falls into two major categories. One is the gradual teaching, and the second one is the ultimate teaching, the teaching on the Four Noble Truth. So we discuss the gradual teaching, starting from dana, giving, sila, discipline, and then the results of good and bad intentional actions. Likewise, we gradually spoke and discussed the topics. And today, the Saddha is also falling into a category of gradual teaching. And one way of explanation of the gradual teaching is the Saddha. So as we know, when we read the teachings of the Buddha, even to understand, to explain the same concept, same idea, same teaching of the Buddha used different approaches, different way of analysis to convey the message to the listeners, depending on their maturity or wisdom. So this is one, the Saddha, starting from Saddha, analysis of Saddha, teaching of the Saddha is one way of teaching gradual analysis, gradual teaching of the Buddha. So in a sutta called Uposatha Sutta in the Udana Pali, we come across the statement like the teaching of the Buddha is similar to an ocean. So Buddha said the teaching of the Buddha, the Dhamma, is very deep. We start approaching the Dhamma from a shallow level, right? Like when we go to the ocean, first we go to the beach, and then we step on the water, and then slowly and gradually we are going into deeper and deeper into the oceans, right? At that time, we may feel like bottomless ocean, right? And it is considered that the values or whatever treasures in the ocean is much more than that exists on the earth. That is the consideration. That is just a belief. And likewise, the analogy of the ocean is given to the Dhamma. First, we start with the gradual level from the basic point, and then as we study the Dhamma, learn the Dhamma, and practice the Dhamma, then we go deeper and deeper into the Dhamma. And when on the path, we may find different approaches to the Dhamma, right? So we are different individuals having different personalities, different like and dislike. We may find some of the approaches to the Dhamma very, very close, very, very practical for us, while some other approaches may be difficult for us. So it is for us to identify what approach to the Dhamma is suitable for us, what approach works for us the best. Like, it is okay we learn the Dhamma, right? We learn the Dhamma whatever, to which extent, to the most extent that we can, but it doesn't mean that we have to remember, we have to study all the teachings of the Buddha, right? So the best understanding, the best way what I see is, even if you take one small teaching of the Buddha and just investigate that analyze it, the teaching, and find out, and with our reasoning, and try to investigate that whether this approach to the Dhamma, to understanding, to enlightenment is appealing to me, will it work for me. Then if I find that it's working for me, then I continue with that, because I don't have to practice all the approaches, all the methods at the same time. If I do that, sometimes I will be going nowhere. So just find out the way, the best way for us to practice. So Saddha, as I said, we start from the Saddha. Only if we have Saddha, if we generate Saddha in the teaching of the Buddha, then we gradually approach to the Dhamma, and we gradually generate wisdom, and then we practice, we are perfected in the path, in the Dhamma. So in the Sangiti Sutta, the Saddha is explained as the Anupubbi Sikha, a gradual training, Anupubbi Kiriya, a gradual, there's also training, Sikha. Sikha is like learning, training. Kiriya means activities, right? We start from, like, we have to begin with some kind of activities, like the activities they are related to attaining the Dhamma. Example, like reducing the three roots of unwholesome, like lust, aversion, and ignorance. Once we start, acting on working ourselves, engaging in activities that are helping us to reduce all those three unwholesome roots, then that is the activity. That is what we refer to activities. Anupubbi Kriya, that is a gradual training. Anupubbi Sikha is a gradual training. Anupubbi Kriya is a gradual activities, and Anupubbi Patipada, that is the gradual path. So for normal individuals like us, we have to start from the beginning, right? Gradually, because we have many things to engage in a society, because we live in a society, we experience difficulties, happiness, sadness, exposing to the reality of life, and then we have to keep ourselves feeding, right? So we have to work, we have to earn, right? Quite a challenging. So therefore, for some people, they might not have enough time to contemplate on the Dhamma, to contemplate on the nature of life, our life. Then we start from the beginning as a gradual teaching. But for some people, they have matured in their wisdom, so right away they can start understanding the Dhamma, realize the Dhamma. Example like Bahya Daruchirya in our Buddhist tradition, even Venerable Sariputta and Moggallana, how they realize the Dhamma, the Four Noble Truths, after hearing very short verse. But unlike them, we have to start with gradual path, step by step. So it's a process. Understanding, practicing the Dhamma is a process, right? So it's a continuous process. So let's come back to the teaching of Saddha included in the Chanki Sutta. Once upon a time, a Chanki, it is a very long story, like a Merlin drama. It's a long story. So we just in short, Chanki, a Brahmin, and with his followers, one day decided to visit Buddha. And then among them was a young Brahmin, 16 years old young Brahmin, but very well versed. He learned the Brahmanic teaching very well. That is Triveda. It's called Triveda. He learned the Veda teaching very well. He's very expert. A 16 years old Brahmin, young Brahmin, Kapatika, and whenever the Buddha understand the thinking, the mental construct of the young Brahmin, and what the Brahmin was thinking about the Buddha. And the story goes on. Then Buddha, in that discussion, Kapatika started the discussion with the Buddha about the teaching, the idea, the belief about Brahmanic teachings, what the general Brahmins think about the teaching of the Brahmanism, Brahmanic teaching. The Kapatika saying, "Oh, Venerable Gautama, among our Brahmins, we make a definite conclusion about the teaching of the Brahmin. The teaching of the Brahmin that include in the Veda, right? The mantra, the teaching, mantra is referring to the verses like Gatha, and they come to a definite conclusion regarding the teaching of the Brahmin like this: idameva satcham mogamanyam." They conclude that the teaching of the Brahmin is the truth, is leading to the realization of the truth, but the teaching of other religion is untrue. And Buddha counter question there: "Oh Brahmin, is it, if that is so, is there any Brahmin among the Brahmins here right now or in the society right now who can claim that I see this ahang etam passami, ahang etam janami, I see this, I know this"? Is there any Brahmin, anyone among the Brahmins right now who can claim that the I see this, I know this, and the teaching of the Brahmin is the only true teaching and the teaching of other religion teaching is untrue? The reply was that, "No, Bhante, no, Venerable Sir, there is no one is saying that I know the teaching of the Brahmin, I see the teaching of the Brahmin is true, and the teaching of other religion is untrue. There is no one I come across who can claim like that." And then again Buddha counter question, second time he was asking, "Okay, among the Brahmins, is there any teacher, any master, or even masters of the masters until the previous seventh generation? Is there anyone who can claim that they can see, they can they know the teaching of the Brahmin, and they can claim that the teaching of only the teaching of the Brahmin is the truth and anything else is false?" The reply was no. And in the third counter question, Buddha asked, "Okay, among the Brahmins in the past, and even the compilers of the Veda, so that the teaching of the Brahmin is written in the Veda. So like our teaching, the Buddha's teaching is written in a Tipitaka, right? In the three basket, like Sutta Pitaka, like Vinaya Pitaka. Likewise, the teaching of the Brahmins are written down in Veda. So Buddha asked, even the writers, the composers of the Veda, composers of the hymns, mantra, did they claim that they know and they see exactly regarding the teaching what they have written down? And also, did they claim that only the teaching of the Brahmin is true and the teaching of other religions is untrue? Did they ever claim like that? The reply was, no, Bhante. Even the composers of the Veda, the teaching of the Brahmin, they even did not made such definite claim. Then Buddha asked Kapatika, a young guy, saying that, Oh, Brahmin, isn't it baseless faith you are having right now regarding your teaching? Because even there is no one, no teacher, even after the seventh generation, even the composers of the Brahmanic Dhamma, they even could not come to definite conclusion that this is the teaching of the Brahmin is the true and the teaching of other religions is untrue. And Buddha was saying that isn't it a baseless faith? Isn't it a baseless conviction you are having? The Brahmins are having regarding their religion? Buddha was counter questioning. Because no one in the Brahmins, among the Brahmins, even the writers of the Brahmin, the Veda, they could not claim such, they could not make such claim. And Buddha then starts saying, using an analogy of blind men, a line of blind men, in which the each blind man does not see, and each blind man is holding another blind man in front, and it's just like playing roller coaster. The kids are playing like roller coaster, holding one's back. So the first one does not see, the middle one also does not see, even the last one also does not see. And similarly, when the Brahmins are claiming that only teaching of the Brahmin is true, the teaching of other religions is untrue, but they cannot say that I know this truly exactly, I see this truly exactly, then the Brahmins are the teachings, Brahmins, the Brahmins believe faith regarding the teaching of the Brahmanism is somewhat similar to a line of blind men under Venupama. So from this teaching discussion, what do we understand is that we Buddhists should have wisdom. Just faith is not enough. Faith is something like, the belief. If I translate the term Saddha into a belief, belief exists, remains as long as belief regarding something remains, as long as we do not see about the thing we have belief exactly, right? So when we have belief, we have the curiosity, because we don't know exactly, we don't see exactly what it is. Something like we keep something hidden in our bag or in our hand, in our palm, but we don't show it to some people, right? But they can have belief in, they can have just think, oh, this, I believe you have this, you are holding this, something like that. But at the time not seeing exactly what it is in my hand. Likewise, as long as we do not see exactly the things, the reality, or whatever it is, until then we have the belief, right? But once we start seeing everything, realizing through ourselves, then what happened? The belief, in Buddhism at least, the belief convert into the, we call the unshaken belief, unshaken faith, unshaken conviction. But first, we start from the belief, Saddha. So even if you look at the sutta, Mahaparinibbana Sutta, we find one teaching, one model, Dhamma Dasa Dhamma Pariyaya. We find avecca pasada, unshaking faith, unshaking conviction regarding the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And so the stage of faith in that state is the end results of the initial stage of faith, Saddha. So let's look at the teaching of the Buddha here in the Chanki Sutta, starting from the faith, Saddha, and also the important discussion followed after this conversation between Kapatika and Buddha was that, and Buddha taught the way how to protect the truth, how to understand the truth, and how to attain the truth. So here it is very important to understand the distinct difference between understanding the truth and attaining to the truth, right? So Buddha was teaching how to protect the truth, how to realize the truth, how to understand the truth, and the third stage is how to attain to the truth. So first, Now let's look at the Saddha, how Buddha was teaching. And also in that particular teaching, Buddha was saying like, first, in order to have Saddha, we have to investigate, we have to conduct a test regarding the teacher, right? So in order to follow anyone, in order to follow any teacher, any master who we think can guide us, we have to thoroughly conduct a research, we have to conduct a thorough research test on the teacher. I mean, like the teacher's teaching, any master's teaching like this. When a master is teaching, somebody is teaching the teaching the Buddha's Dhamma, we have to investigate if the teacher's teaching is, void of three roots of unwholesome, that is lust, craving or aversion or ignorance, right? If the teaching of any master is void of craving, hatred, and ignorance, then we should follow that master's teaching, right? And here we usually focus on the teaching, right? Because when generally it comes to the masters, right, in a society, we focus on the teaching of the Buddha, because the master is teaching the teaching of the Buddha, right? But rather than focusing on the personal characteristics, the qualities of the teacher, we just investigate on the teacher's teaching, because sometimes to understand the real nature, the real characteristics of the master or individual, it takes a long time actually, right? For like just by appearance, we cannot say that this teacher is good, this teacher is perfect in discipline. We cannot come to such conclusion because it takes a long time, maybe years, right? That's why Buddha in one sutta, Sattha Jatila Sutta, Buddha is saying that in order to understand the person's nature, good or bad, enlightened or unenlightened, we have to associate a very long time. Therefore, here, rather than much focusing on the teachers, we just focus on the teachers' teaching on the Buddha's Dhamma, right? Because if we focus just on teacher's characteristics, outer appearance, we might be misled, right? We might just come to conclusion, oh, this teacher is good and this and that, but sometimes maybe later on time, sometimes if we find out something not good, quite opposite of what he is teaching, then like we feel like, oh, we are betrayed, something like that, right? So just focus on teaching, the teacher's teaching, because the teaching is the teaching of the Buddha, whatever the person may teach, right? So if somebody is teaching the Buddha's Dhamma, that means the teaching should be void of the craving, hatred, and ignorance, right? So when we find out the teacher's teaching is, master's teaching is void of craving, hatred, and delusion, then we have to follow such master's teaching. We have to practice such teaching, and that is also corresponding to we remember like very famous sutta we call Kalama Sutta, right? It is teaching. Its teaching is like not to accept anything by just appearance, right? Not to accept blindly, not to follow any teaching blindly. So that's what the idea behind this. And after what happened, after we see we find out master, he's teaching the good, teaching the Buddha's Dhamma, and the teaching is helping to reduce craving, hatred, and ignorance. Then at that stage we generate faith, Saddha, in the teaching, in the master. Here at this stage we can have Saddha in our master is the Buddha, right? So we have faith, we generate conviction in the Buddha. And let's see how the Saddha is helping us to gradually develop ourselves in the path. Let's look at, okay. Buddha was saying like how to generate Saddha. It says, Saddha jatu upasankamati. Because of Saddha, we coming near to the teacher, we start associating with the master, with the teacher, with the Buddha, or even right now maybe with so many teachers, we come to associate with so many teachers, right? Because we have Saddha. Saddha is what? That is, Saddha is our conviction is regarding the teaching, and also we have faith, we have belief that once we follow the teaching, the Buddha's Dhamma, we are benefited, and we see the path, we can follow the Buddha's path, and we can reduce and finally, like completely eradicate the three roots, unwholesome roots: craving, hatred, and delusion. And once we have Saddha, and also another aspect of the Saddha is that we experience suffering in this world, right? Our life is both, we experience both suffering and happiness, right? We experience pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings. But finally, whatever, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, everything, every happiness ended in suffering, and our samsara continues, right? But we are still experiencing happiness. Our life is not just, void of happiness, right? Therefore, the human life is considered as, the pleasant dimension, when consider like other dimension, the lower state of life, right? And when we look at the animals, right, they're always, we see how difficult it is, right? From our perspective, from our point of view, we see, right, when we compare our life, right, we have thinking, we have brain, we can understand what is good, what is bad for us, what is working for us, what is not working for us. So we have the wisdom as a human being. That's why, and we also experience the happiness even though we are experiencing suffering. So in the Upanishad Sutta, we find that because of experiencing suffering, we generate saddha. The saddha, they're related to, that the belief that having the faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, we can see the path to eradicate suffering, to reduce suffering, right? To understand the suffering, we have to have saddha in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So let's see how the saddha is generated in us. Saddha jatu upasankamati, because of saddha, we are coming near to the master teaching or teacher. Upasankamati payurupasanti sotang odahati. After we come near to the Buddha, then what we do, we listen to the Dhamma. And if we approach the master, any master, then we listen to the Dhamma, listen to his teaching. Sutva Dhamman dhareti. Once we listen to the Dhamma, we bear the Dhamma, we remember the Dhamma, the teaching, right? And then what happened after we remember the Dhamma? Attang upaparikanti. Yes, listening, yes, remembering the Dhamma, but again, we should not accept the teaching blindly. We have to, upaparikkhata means, upaparikkana is like investigating. We have to explore the Dhamma. Whatever Dhamma we learn, we remember, we have to investigate them, the meaning. We have to understand the meaning. We have to learn the meaning of the Dhamma. And also we have to understand pros and cons. We have to evaluate actually whether it is working for us, whether it is benefiting us, at least ourselves. If it is benefiting us, if it is helping us to reduce craving, hatred, and ignorance, then that Dhamma should be accepted and should be followed. And after we investigate in Dhamma, what would we do? Attana upaparikanto dhammang nijanang kamati. And after we investigate, evaluate the Dhamma, then we understand the Dhamma. We are bearing the meaning of the Dhamma, the concept of the Dhamma, understanding the concept, right? So there are different concepts, different teachings, like teaching on rebirth, right? Teaching on suffering, right? There are so many concepts discussed in the teaching of the Buddha, right? Like a gradual teaching, also teaching one way of teaching, and then the deep teaching of the Buddha, like Four Level Truth, all are teaching of the Dhamma, all right? And then once we understand the Dhamma, here Nijjana means the knowledge of the Dhamma, right? So we are bearing the knowledge of the Dhamma. And then what we do after that? After we learn the Dhamma, we listen to the Dhamma, we evaluate the Dhamma, and then now we bear the meaning, the knowledge of the Dhamma, and then we start chando jayati. Then we start, actually effort. Chanda means like desire, the willingness to practice in the Dhamma, right? So it's like the gradual. This is like the first one is helping the second one, right? The second factor is helping the third one, likewise. So after we learn the Dhamma, we find the Dhamma is helping us to reduce craving, hatred, and delusion. Then we desire, we generate desire, willingness, chando jayati. And after we generate desire, then we start trying, exercising our effort, right? Because understanding knowledge is never enough. We have to start actually stepping into the path as much as possible. We don't have to be perfect at one time, right? Because the path in the Dhamma is a gradual process for almost all of us. So we start gradually, right, stepping on. And then once we, after we take effort, ussahitva tuleyati kayena cheva paramang satchang satchikarati. Then after we take effort, after we exercise our effort, then we realize the Dhamma through ourselves, within ourselves. Why do we always see the term understanding, realizing the Dhamma from ourselves, from within? Why this is very important? Why we always see such repetition? Because we have to understand the Dhamma not from outside, right? We have to look at our life, our existence, our becoming. It is said in some analysis, like there are so many ways of looking at our life, our existence. Either we can look our existence like with dependent correlation theory, paticca, like understanding how our life subject to constant changing, subject to again and again rebirth, rebecoming, right? Death, aging, again rebirth. How our samsaric suffering continues again and again. So we have different approaches, different way to look our life. But once we understand our life, right, and our nature, then we can understand the truth. We can realize the truth through ourselves, because we learn everything, like from our six senses, six faculties: eye, ear, nose, and mind. Right, the sixth one is the mind. We learn the experiences. We investigate our experiences. We deeply investigate our own life experiences. And then, therefore, if anybody learn the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma, put into practice, and look at our life existence through the filter of the Dhamma, understand our life through the Dhamma, then once we put the knowledge, our understanding of the Dhamma into practice, then we gradually understand our life, understand the Dhamma, and realize the truth, right? Samano pahitatto samano kayena cheva paramang satchang satchikaroti. That is realizing the truth through ourselves, not from outside. Realization in Buddhism does not come from the greater being. It happens inside us. We are responsible for our realization. Likewise, we are responsible for our suffering, right? We are responsible for our difficulties, right? If we do bad, then we are responsible for our activities. Like we may be liable for the law the legal activity, legal action, legal consequences. Likewise, even we are responsible for our own karma, right? So likewise, to understand the Dhamma, to understand the truth, we have to start from ourselves. First, to understand the Dhamma, first we have to have Saddha, we have to have faith in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and in the Sangha, right? Basically, we have to have the Saddha in the teaching of the Buddha, that once we are following the Dhamma, once we are learning the Dhamma, investing in the Dhamma, and following the Dhamma, and when we experience that we are reducing craving, hatred, and delusion, at that point, the Dhamma is working for us, and then it is helping us to realize the Dhamma through our own self. That's my summary. Thank you so much for participating in the Sunday service. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandasara. If you have any question, any comment, we have little time, not too much. Yes.
I can be very, very quick.
Yes.
So that sutta is really powerful, because I think there's a part of that where he talks about if you divided the blind men into groups and said, here's an elephant, right? Here's an elephant's head, an ear, a tail, and then you ask the blind men separately, what is an elephant? They can only say this is a tail, this is an ear, things like that. And my takeaway from that was I think I realized that I too am a blind man because of the experiences and the circumstances for this birth, for me, it made me realize that I'm a blind man. And I think that the Buddha is so brilliant to talk about faith because it's the only way initially to pull out of that. But he doesn't talk about blind faith, he talks about stable faith, which you could prove and realize for yourself. And it's just incredible. And the other kind of observation is it seems like the Brahmins were always trying to catch up the Buddha and prove him wrong or things like that. But every time that he illustrates the Dhamma in response to that, it's really impressive. So I appreciate your talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's your name?
I'm Ben.
Ben. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, it's very impressive. Yeah, right. And also the simile of blind man touching the elephants we see in commentary, like example. So yeah, in the sutta itself, it doesn't say the blind man touching the elephant, but yeah, what you say is like all that story is also related to behind this is related, right? So we have to have rational faith, rational conviction, just the saddha, and yeah, that's it. Like in the future, if I have time, I'll look at the different interpretation definition of the saddha, because even in the same sutta we find different interpretation of the term saddha with different contexts. So thank you so much for your comment. Yeah, it's very helpful for everybody here. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for your very wise talk today. By the way, his name is also Saddha. I was given that name by Reverend Karuna because she said it was a name I would grow into.
You are.
Yeah. So I'm still growing into it.
It's a process. Everybody's in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? No? All right. We will chant page 4 and page 10. Before chanting start, just I want to mention next Sunday, Stephen Subodha is going to give a Dhamma talk. And again, I want to say to the people, the audience, we do have parking behind the third house, actually. Third house. So you go to all the way to the San Marino and go to the alley, not the Vermont, go to alley and come this way. And gate will open 10:30. You can park there. It's no problem. It's safe, much more safe, I believe. And so you can park there. And next Sunday is Subodha is going to give a Dhamma talk. After that, fourth Sunday, I believe 2024. Sai Marjan is going to give a Dhamma talk. He was in Colorado and he just came last night. He said, Bante, I can give a talk. So I say I will arrange. So after the Subodha. So that's it right now, the announcement. I am leaving back to Sri Lanka tonight. Some important program back in my temple, plus I'm going to take my mother back to Sri Lanka. She feels to go back to Sri Lanka right now. She's almost 94 years old. So it is my responsibility to take care of the mother. So it's a lot of merit I'm getting from the take care of the mother. So I'm going to go tonight. And I hope to come. I'm going to miss only 2 Sundays. I hope to come 27, I believe 27. So we'll see you again 27. So we chant the page 4 and page 10. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato
සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සංඝං සරණං gacchami. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them all. Deluding passions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them all. Dharma gates are limitless. I vow to study them all. Buddha's way is supreme. I vow to attain it. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and the sick find health relief. Nendi dukang pokap onyade nyaidang dujung sangge nyai kong ai pada nendi dukang pokap onyade nyaidang dujung sangge nyai kong ai pada nendi dukang pokap onyade nyaidang dujung sangge nyai kong
Om Thank you again for everybody. Thank you, Chandasara. We do have tea and cookies. So I believe there are very good cookies today. What's your name, say again? Ben. Ben bring a very nice cookies. I want to eat soon. I don't know. And again, by the power of the Buddha and Dhamma and the Sangha, you all be well and happy. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.